Hi, I'm Paula Flowe, Executive Director of the Hitting Stops Here, a campaign for teaching kindness and respect in schools everywhere. I'm here with my friend Chris. Tell him what you do, Chris.
Yeah, my name's Chris, and I'm just a big advocate on the rights of children and teenagers because they're human beings too. I mean, I think we should eliminate all forms of discrimination. That includes age discrimination.
Right.
We've taken care of other forms of discrimination. Now it's age, and that's actually the first kind of discrimination most people experience in life.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Chris and I just left the Texas State Capitol where Texas Representative Alma Allen, the lovely Miss Alma Allen, introduced a bill for banning corporal punishment throughout the state of Texas. Now, the bill is H916, and there were very good results that I felt came from this hearing that she held today, and there were some things that we found very disturbing and very sad. But I'm going to let Chris tell us, what did you get out of the hearing today?
I think that we did a really good job for the most part. We're working hard to abolish this kind of like where you can hit children with wooden boards. That's just outright abuse. And I think we did really well.
Yeah.
And some of those speakers up there did a really good job. I mean, this young lady, only 16 years old, or 17 actually, and she talked about her own experiences, not with paddling, but with other abusive situations and how she's dealt with it. And I thought she's way beyond her years, if you ask me.
Some of my best friends are corporate America workers, and Mark Echo is one of them. He spoke out on behalf of American school children today, and the Harold Dutton, he's actually a Black American representative. You know, sad to say that he challenged him on issues of statistics and issues of dropouts. And did you notice him say anything about the fact that more than 10,000 special needs children were beaten? All I heard was, well, when I was little, you know, kids were beaten and there was low dropout rate. Did you hear him say anything on the issue of the horrible practice of beating kids?
No, I didn't. All he talked about was how does this relate to dropout rates.
Yeah.
But even if it doesn't lead to dropout rates, it has other negative effects.
Lots of negative effects. And you know, I was pointing out, one of my points that I made was that, you know, it's really sad that beatings are part of the Black American culture. But obviously, I mean, we've been beaten since 1619, and now here we are in the year 2011. Almost 400 years Black Americans have been targets for sanctioned abuse, from slavery right on into it being left in our American classrooms. And here Representative Harold Dutton is a Black American, and he did not come across like somebody who wanted to see this go away. I hope he heard me when I said that there are no statistics on Asians nor Middle Easterners being beaten, even though they run when they're supposed to be walking and chew gum.
Yeah.
And it's not just him. The Black race as a whole has two different sort of segments to it. One that is you know, progressive and moving forward and seeing the harm caused by this. And then we have those who are still brainwashed from slavery days, feeling like this is what you're going to get if you don't listen, and think that that is a way to handle a developing human being.
Yeah, I know. I would think you'd learn not that those slave masters, they weren't role models. They're anything but role models.
Yeah, they were not role models at all. And one of the sad things, too, is that here we have Representative Alma Allen. Most of you probably know she is a Black American woman, and this is her 5th time trying to have this corporal punishment ended in Texas schools.
So I think regardless of race, nobody should get paddled.
Not at all.
It doesn't matter what the person's race is, it's equally bad.
It doesn't matter if they're even green. The fact of the matter is to have a Black American man who, you know, here we have an opportunity to help better our race and to put an end to sanctioned beatings for Black Americans. I mean, literally, for 400 years, the white population has been sanctioned to beat us. No different than in slavery days. And here's an opportunity for Harold Dutton to step back and say, you know what, I know for a fact, I know my history. House Negroes didn't speak out. I'm not going to be a House Negro. I might be a House of Representatives Black American man, but I'm not a House Negro, and I am going to speak out for, you know, having this social injustice that is primarily targeted at black boys, number one target, black boys. I am going to do something to end it. But instead, he talked about statistics and dropouts, and that was disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say it's what, approximately 250,000 students that get paddled every year?
Oh yeah, more than that. You know, these records that say 250,000, you got to keep in mind that a child can be beaten in an American school more than 50 times in the school year, and they will count it as one beating. So the numbers are off the chart. Furthermore, Chris, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they have made it not mandatory. You do not have to keep records. If you beat a child in America, you don't have to report it.
If it's in a state where they allow it.
Yes, in a paddling state. Thank you. In a paddling state, if you beat an American child, you do not have to report it. So the numbers are way skewed, you know, showing the minimum.
But isn't there approximately, there's what, 50 million people in this country in school grades K through 12?
You know, I'm not sure of the number, but I do know that 17% are black Americans. And so that's a pretty small number. Out of all the kids in American schools, only 17% are black Americans, yet they receive almost half of the total number of beatings. Did you know that?
No.
Yep, that's a fact.
But, you know, where the states that do allow paddling, they're southern states. Where you have a lot of white supremacy and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you don't find stuff like that up where I'm from, New Jersey. New Jersey, which is very integrated, you don't find any of that there.
Yes, exactly. You know, I wanted to point out too, it was very sad. There was a young man who testified at the hearing today. His name is Tyler. He's been beaten more than 70 times. Okay, that number is 70. He's been beaten more than 70 times in the Texas school district. And there was one representative there on his left that basically hardlined him on the fact that he skipped detention. And that was why this young boy was beaten recently. And if you see the photographs of the bruises on this kid, it was a crime. It was a crime. And yet this representative says, you know, you should have gone to detention. You know, I'm not saying you should have gotten beaten. Why is he focused on that? This boy was beaten 70 times in the state of Texas. He was brave enough to come and speak on behalf of his peers who are being beaten. And the representative, I won't even mention his name, but all he said at least 5 times, I was counting, was, well, you should have gone to detention. You should have gone to detention. Not, I'm sorry that this happened to you. And it shouldn't have happened to anybody. You know, if we're going to talk about should and should not be doing, tell us, Chris, what should these representatives be doing?
They should be looking for alternatives. They should ban this stuff. And as for that one representative you were talking about who just made a big deal about this boy didn't go to detention, in my school, it was simple. If you got a detention, if you didn't complete it by the end of the school year, then you didn't graduate. So if you didn't come in one day, then you had to come in the next day. I just don't see why they can't do something like that. Just have it something that you have to complete, or you don't graduate if you don't complete it by graduation.
Well, you know, what's really sad too is that we have our American school children who are counting on these representatives right now, making a decision to pass that bill. HB 916. Now, I want to let everybody know out there also, if you go to our website, thehittingstopshere.com, we have a campaign for you to write your governors. Your governors are allowed to they have the power to put a ban on or a moratorium on all school beatings today if they choose to. And we have letters for people living in all paddling states, all 20 paddling states and our U.S. territories, where you can copy that letter and mail it off. Tell your governor to exercise his power to ban school beatings in your state.
Yeah. It's up to the people, and it's up to the students. I think we also need to educate students. They don't have to allow people to paddle.
Right. And tell them why. I mean, tell them what they can do.
Well, usually from what I know, you're called to the office for paddling. Just don't show up. Walk away from the school. Get off the school grounds.
It's your body. It is your body. And science has proven that paddling causes sexual confusion. It causes nightmares. It causes fear and disrespect for authority figures. It causes low self-esteem. It can cause alcoholism later because you keep playing that beating over and over and over in your head, and you think that alcohol is going to drown out that little memory, but it doesn't, so you take more. So it leads to alcoholism too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad. And I wanted you to mention also, Chris, I know you've mentioned to the girls being paddled at age 17 and 18. Is that not sexual? A man 45 spanking, beating 16-year-old girls in their office behind closed doors?
It is. It's sexual
that.
assault. It's like rape.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put it almost at the same level.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we just want to let you know that we are very hopeful, and we want you American school children to know we will not abandon you. If this bill is not passed, we're already planning on our next step starting the middle of May. By the middle of May is when we should know the results of this bill, whether it's going to pass or not. And we will become active. I will be returning to Texas. We're already planning with the ACLU possible sleepovers and rallies, and we're calling in all the troops, people who respect children and want them to be safe from this assault and battery that is sanctioned in our schools here in Texas. We will be rallying the troops, and we're not going away. We are not going away. We want you to know we will not abandon you. You don't deserve it, and it derails your life, sometimes forever, when you're beaten. What do you think of that, Chris?
Yeah, and I think it's also the most important thing you can do, as I said, to teach students and not to be victims. Don't let yourself be a victim. I mean, you might have been brought up to accept that, but you got to step outside of that.
Exactly.
It's a different world, but you got to learn to stick up for yourself and have respect for yourself.
Yeah, if you have more respect for yourself, you're not ever going to let somebody put their hands on you. It is your body. It's the only body you have. Nobody has the right to touch it. As far as the 14th Amendment goes, that's your equal protection clause and the due process clause. You don't get any of that. You're not protected, and you don't get your due process. Due process means somebody sits down and decides whether you're being beaten is even appropriate. You don't get any of that. Why? Because you were beaten by an American school teacher. How are we going to end American educator bullying if this is the standard in our schools?
Well, as I said, I think the most important thing to do is teach students not to be victims, not to let themselves be bullied, to stick up for themselves.
Exactly.
But we should have laws against it. But just because something's against the law doesn't mean people don't do it.
Right.
People get raped and murdered all the time. Those things are against the law.
Right. But the problem with this in school is that there's no law to protect them. At least if that happens, you can go to a court of law and say, hey, this is what happened to me. But these children, the problem is that they cannot go and have a judge, deliver justice simply because they are American school children. How are you? Yeah. So that's one of the things that we wanted to point out. I wanted to say once again to Mr. Mark Echo, we are so grateful for your arriving at the hearing today. We are grateful for the campaign you're having in the country now, putting billboards up. We do hope you will put them up in the state of Texas and Mississippi, where most of the beatings are in fact taking place.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to see them. So, you have any words for Mr. Echo?
Yeah, good luck. I think you're doing a great job. You work hard. You run a fashion industry, and you're a success story in life. And I'd like to say, keep being successful. And a powerful man like you would have no problem. You'd be an awesome ally for us.
Exactly. And you know what I really appreciate about him is that he does have money, but he's not. He has not forgotten about those who are poor and unfortunate, and he's sharing his wealth with these American school children for their safety and for their good. And God bless you for that, Mr. Echo. We are very appreciative. Thank you so much. Yeah. And you know what I want you to do? Take a moment and tell people how they can get to your YouTubes. You have some excellent YouTubes up.
Yes, Youth Freedom Fighters. That's my user handle name. So go check out my videos. I usually have the American flag behind me when
Yeah.
That's a lot of my videos that do that, and they're really fun videos. I break stuff in my videos.
He's actually linked to our YouTube videos as well, so if you don't know how to find him, again, go to thehittingstopshere.com, and in the left column, if you scroll down, you will see our YouTube link. Just click on it, and you'll see at least 50 some odd YouTubes there teaching you about this matter, and again, you'll find Chris there. Chris, I want to thank you so much for joining me and letting everybody know how this event went, and people out there, Those of you who love children, contact us. Send an email to us at info@thehittingstopshere.com. Let us know that you want to help us. Get those postcards out to the governors. Learn more. Join the ranks of us. These children may be the ones you meet on the street one day, and you want them to be friendly, not violent. And it happens more than 2,000 times a day, and it needs to stop.
Yeah.
I say the hitting stops here. How about you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Should have never started to begin with. It should have never happened in the first place.
No. Well, thank you so much, and see you back. You're going to New Jersey tonight?
I might check out the music fest. Who knows? I might be here another night, but yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'll be
Close to 2,000 miles I drove to get here.
Wow. You know, children, these are the kind of people you have on your side. Somebody willing to drive more than 2,000 miles to come and speak on your behalf. And we won't abandon you once again. And thank you. Hang in there. We're coming for you.
All right.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, so I'll stop it. All right.